Hello, my name's Steve from K-Scale Models, and today I'm doing a video about the 1/144 scale M61A5. This is part of the War Ground set, so with this kit you get two of these runners, so you get two tanks. You also get an actual Zaku to go with it. And on this runner you get a couple of extra bits. You get the hover bike thing, a couple of infantry, some explosions for the tank, an extra weapon for the Zaku. That's to kind of have the rocket or something flying out. It's just painting that. A couple of damage track, grenade like thing. So yeah, there is quite a lot in this kit. However, you know me, I'm not just going to build the basic kit. That's kind of not my thing. I'm going to take a 3D printer to it. So what am I going to be altering? Well, there's a couple of things, and it's stuff that I don't really like with the base kit. So let's just go over it. So the big one that kind of prompted me to do this, and I've tried to do this in the past, is this turret bustle here. This is, to be honest, it's ugly. They've had to, for injection molding purposes, make all the detail like solid. This should be like open. All these parts should be open up, clear, no plastic there. But just due to how injection molding works, they couldn't do that. That was going to be too thin and it was going to break. So they had to do it this way. Likewise, this machine gun is not exactly great. It's just a big solid lump of plastic, and you'd be hard pressed whilst it's on the kit for you to actually realise it is a machine gun. On the actual turret itself, another bit that's kind of disappointing is all the smoke launchers are vertical. They're not actually pointing in the direction they should be. Now, again, this is injection molding, some of the limitations. With injection molding, the parts are, the material is being like lifted up here, or the mold is. I think there might be extra molds that are coming in and out here just to give a bit extra detail on, like, say, these parts. So there might be sliding molds. This is a 2008 kit, so it is a bit old. But even on modern tech, I would think that they would struggle to make this sort of kit like the sort of quality that I'm looking for in it. So I'm going to go away and I'm going to redesign these parts. Whilst I'm doing that though, I'm also going to add a dozer blade to the front. This is like an anti-mine device. It just basically picks up mines and throws off to the side. So I'm going to go away and do that, and I will be back in a minute. So here's all the parts in CAD. So I'm just going to go over them, and I'm going to start with the rear, so the turret bustle. Now this is incredibly thin. Just give you an idea of scale here, that's 0.3 millimeters. This actual plate here, 0.2. So this is just at the edge of what will work on a regular resin printer with regular resin. Some people have suggested using ABS like resin to get thinner parts, or to use the 8K resin. I haven't tried either of those. I'm building for the lowest denominator, which would be someone just coming in and using a regular standard 3D printer, or resin printer anyway. The gun here, because there's actually a gun on the back of this, is fairly low detail, but again, we're talking about 0.2 millimeter for the barrel. Okay, yep, 0.2 millimeter. So this is absolutely tiny. You will not see any more detail than what's here. It's like, yeah, even that, you don't see a lot of detail when you've actually printed this thing out. The reason there's two of these rear bustles is I was working on the ladder. So this is what the ladder's like on the normal kit. This is what it's like when it's actually being deployed. So yeah, the way that the turret actually moves, this ladder would, if it's deployed, would actually collide with the actual hull. So it's something just with part of the kit. On the 35th scale one, it's got the same issue, so that's actually designed in it.
I suspect if this thing was like a real tank, what would happen is this thing would be eaten by the turret monster, which is basically anytime you move the turret, if anything's trapped in the gears or in the turret, uh, it will basically just gobble it up and spit out lots of rubbish. So yeah. Moving forward, we've got the 50 cal machine gun. Now again, this thing is absolutely tiny. It's this, if I remember right, is about 0.2 mil. Okay, it's slightly higher, 0.24, but it's still absolutely tiny. And yeah, this sometimes has problems printing or problems getting off the build plate because yeah, it just snaps. The machine gun ammo detail here is small enough that you probably won't even get washers to pick that out, but feel free to try. Again, there could be more detail in this, but there is quite a lot, but we're getting down to the point of just not being able to see it and not being able to really do anything with it. So yeah. Moving further forward, we've got the smoke launchers. Now, these are fairly straightforward. They're just at an angle and they're just rectangle blocks. But what I was finding is it was hard to distinguish between this block and this block. So what I decided to do was put in a couple of fillets. If I'd done an actual like panel line at that scale, because this is like 0.4, it would just look massive and wrong. But if I do this, then it just adds a bit of detail. Last bit on the turret is these recognition panels. So on a tank, what you get is you get these recognition panels, which if you look at through infrared, they show up as a distinct heat blob. Can't remember if it's a hot or a colder one, but basically it's a way of one tank being able to identify another one without being glaringly obvious and saying, hey, I'm here. So if you're looking at a tank, you see this on the side, you know, that's one of ours. There's different patterns of these that you get for different nations. So yeah, this is at the moment stuck on the front of the turret, but it will fit on the side here if necessary. Right at the front is the mine plow. So there isn't much of lower glacis to work with here. Like normally when you're making these things, they attach to the lower glacis between like lifting points or something, or mounted all over. But there isn't a huge amount of space there. So what I ended up doing is I made these side parts where the mine plows actually connected to the side skirts. It's not an ideal solution, and this is not how you would do things in real life, but it balances it out because just having this bit alone looked like it was too thin and flimsy, and yeah, it wasn't working. So yeah, that's where these came from. So I printed them all out, so let's go back to the actual bench and I'll show you them.
And here's the tank. So quick spin around. As you can see, parts are stuck on just with tacky wax for the moment, but this is because I'm wanting to go and actually paint this, so I'm going to be taking them all off again. That's actually a bit squint. There. So yeah, that's the thing. Now a couple of things to note. First off, these machine guns are absolutely tiny. You are not going to get any sort of detail or much painting or washes in there. It's just like you can't see the detail. It's that small. Moving on to the rear, this bit here, I'm just going to prop it up against the track. Oh, no. Put it up here. So yeah, this little bit up here, that is the undeployed ladder. So yeah, I'm not going to put it on now because this isn't actually glued on, and it's just going to flex and go all over the place, and the gun's probably going to go walkies. The last thing is the plough at the front. So I'm going to take this off and show you the original plough and why I changed it. So yeah, that doesn't really look like it's got enough support on the sides, where there will be a lot of pressure, because what's happening when it's doing mine clearance is debris coming up over these forks and pushing to the sides. So this side and this side here are going to have the most force acting on them, pushing them in all directions. So yeah, these little supports in the middle aren't sufficient for that. So that's why I added on the side parts, because that does give you enough support. It does, or at least it looks like it gives you enough support to make it look like, yeah, this is perfectly fine. So that is the model overall. I'm happy with the look when it's got its proper mine plough on. I'll just put this back in. So just check that lines up. Yeah. Put it down a bit. There. So, quick bit of channel admin. I have slowed my upload schedule down because I started a part-time job at a local restaurant. Basically, the 3D printing gunpla wasn't really making me any money, so I kind of had to do that, so I've got some income. I will still try to continue on to put content out there, but things are going to slow down. I don't have an exact idea on how many videos I'm going to produce, when I'm going to produce them. I'll try and produce as many as I can, but no guarantees on anything. Oh, just noticed that came off. So, yeah. As for the files for this, they will be uploaded to Thingiverse or Cults or wherever by the time of you watching this video. So you can go check the description for that. And if you've got any ideas for builds like this, put them in the comments below. I'm next going to be working on a Matilda Toon Tank for the streams, but I'm always looking for the next sort of project. I've got a couple of ideas, but this is going to be the Matilda is going to be the next one, because that should be an easy build and should be a lot of fun. Anyway, for now, thank you for watching.